Hello again, and welcome to Void Signal. I'm the host of this mess, Brian Prime, and on this episode, we're going to have a discussion with Ashton Nyte of goth rock act The Awakening. The Awakening was founded in 1995 and has released 11 studio albums. The band's central driving force, Ashton Nyte, is a charismatic, enigmatic, and multi-talented performer, having contributed to notable projects with artists like The Cure, Peter Murphy, The Mission, and more. In addition to his music, Ashton has written 2 books, along with acting in staged theater performances. He's a lovely and smart human being. I sat down with Ashton from his studio several weeks ago and had a chat about his return to touring, upcoming performances at Glom Fest, and his continued pursuit of art. But before we get on with it, here's some messages from our sponsors. Glom Fest is imminent. We're just a few weeks away from one of the most unique festivals currently running. Glom Fest is headed for LA, San Francisco, Portland, and Vancouver. In addition to seeing stellar performances by artists like The Awakening and The Royal Ritual, there's a special guest for each city. So get your tickets now and come say hello to me at the LA or San Francisco shows. I hope to see you there. Visit glomfest.com for more information and get your tickets now. VIP is nearly sold out for every city. That's Glom, Glom, fest.com. Intro for this episode, courtesy of Processor. Visit processor2.bandcamp.com or search Processor on streaming platforms everywhere. Thank you as always to Johan for giving Void Signal a soundtrack. Did you know that Void Signal is 4 years old now and has produced over 150 episodes? It's gotten a lot better with the support of listeners like yourself. You can support the creation of more people-powered, ad-free Void Signal by visiting voidsignal.net or patreon.com/voidsignal and signing up for the Void Signal Patreon. For as little as $2 per month, you can enjoy extra content and support independent media. Thanks so much for your consideration and for tuning in. It has been a wonderful journey, and this humble little thing has brought me much joy and satisfaction in my life. Thank you for sharing it with me. Okay, friend, our time is at an end for now. I hope to see you at Glom Fest in a few short weeks, and don't worry, you won't miss me because I'm so big. Stay safe, stay loud, and I'll see you soon. Welcome to Void Signal. I am your host, Brian Prime. I'm joined this week by Ashton Nyte. You record as The Awakening, and you're going to be on the upcoming Glom Festival lineup. And you've done a ton of other things, written books and acting. And there is such a tremendous theatrical element to everything that you do with your music videos and your performances. Multi-instrumentalist and worked with tons of people. I'm very excited to see you on the tour here in the States. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for making this work. And yeah, how are things with you as of lately?
Well, it was a lovely introduction. Thank you very much, Brian. Lovely to be here. And I'm feeling fit and frisky and suitably caffeinated. So, life is good. My cat's asleep, so she won't be interfering with our chat as she likes to do. So, we'll see how that goes.
Gotcha. Okay, no worries. What is the cat's name?
Well, my baby is Willow. She's the reason I don't tour as often as I used to.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. And yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to be said for how much comfort and how much they can give. I mean, when my emotional battery is low, having a pet to kind of give you a recharge it's good for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's something special. We'll move on and actually talk about your music in a second. But but just there is something kind of special about a different species of animal that is communicating with you of affection or needs or wants or I want to sit with you or whatever. There's a lot of value in that, I feel. So, yeah.
I agree. Yes. No, Willow, we've cut many vacations short because Willow is just lonesome at home or, I plan my recording schedule around how she's feeling.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's important to spend time while you can, sort of a thing, because
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on to you mentioned touring, so I'll start there. So Glom Fest is a couple of months away still, and you've been playing shows very recently, as recent as last night, or?
We're about to embark on The Awakening's first official tour it's 9 years, actually. I've been touring as Ashton Nyte, doing solo tours and performances and whatever else. But I released a self-titled album as The Awakening in October last year, and we're finally getting to tour that. We start in July. So we leave on July 4th, and we're doing 3 shows in Germany, and then we're co-headlining Castle Party Festival in Poland, which is literally at a castle, which is pretty exciting. And then we're back for the Glom Fest dates that you mentioned on the West Coast and heading up to Canada. And then we've got shows in the UK and France and Germany and the Netherlands. I think we've tentatively got some shows in South Africa and Mexico as well. So it's a busy year.
Yes. Is there any particular region or one of these dates that you're sort of maybe looking forward to a little bit extra, a place you haven't been, or a chance to see something you've always wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds rehearsed, but I'm excited to be doing all of it. It's just, when you haven't sort of had the big show on the road, so to speak, for a while, it's very exciting. I've released quite a few albums since the last time we toured, and it'd be exciting to have a set that's 50% material that we've never played before. But to your question, Castle Party in Poland is something I've been aware of pretty much my entire career. It's been going for, I think, 30 years or something. So that's exciting. Something we've never done. We've played Poland before, but not this particular festival. So that'll be exciting. And we're returning to Brainstorm Festival in the Netherlands, where last year I did a solo acoustic show in a theater there, which was absolutely wonderful. People are really lovely, the organizers, the bands, the audience, everyone. So this year we're doing a rock show on one night and then a special full band theater show the next night. So yeah, but honestly, all the shows are exciting. Everything's a little different. We've got UK dates with our mutual friend David of the Royal Ritual will be opening for us in the UK. And of course, we're sharing a stage with the Royal Ritual and others on Glom Fest. And then the European dates, or the EU dates, I should say, we have a band called The Last Decade who are supporting us. And there's members of Nosferatu and The Mission and Love Like Blood, a whole lot of bands, End of Green. So, it's going to be they're a sort of gothic supergroup, so to speak. So it'll be lovely having them kind of warm up the crowd for us. I've been friends with members of that band for a long time. It's exciting to get on stage and actually do this thing,
Yeah, for sure. Especially after being away from it for 9 years, you said. That is quite some time. Do you feel ready?
Oh, yeah. It's been 9 years since The Awakening full band played, but I've continued to tour and I've been in other projects and we've toured with those as well. So it's, it's not that I'm out of practice, so to speak. The same is true for the guys in the band. Jeremy, our guitarist, also plays in London After Midnight, and he plays in a bunch of other sort of local rock and metal bands. Ashes plays in Wednesday 13. Our drummer, Seven, is based in South Africa, and he's got a whole lot of things that he's involved in as well. So I think we all keep busy and we're all excited to be back in this format and doing what we love.
Yeah, I'm sure. And it's, recognizing the privilege of being able to go and do it.
Absolutely. That is the word, is privilege. I started this band in a bedroom in Johannesburg a long, long time ago. I was surprised that people cared the way they did, especially being a gothic rock band from Johannesburg, South Africa, to still be doing it. This is now our 12th record, which is a lot. To have people continue to support and to have new people discover the band, whether it's through the wonders of the digital age or whether it's through seeing us in a show or whatever it is definitely a privilege to do this and not something I take for granted.
Yeah, I admire you for that. On the subject of the music, you mentioned a 12th record. That is quite a feat. Congratulations to begin with on making so many art babies as you have. I assume I ask this question pretty frequently, but fans want to know it. I can guess at the answer, but I'm assuming that this is a thing you will continue to work on for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I have a slight problem with just being mildly addicted to the creative process, and maybe not so mildly.
Yeah, it shows.
If you like what I do, then, you're in for even more because there's more on the way. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Any other musical endeavors that you have on the horizon for the foreseeable future?
Well, yes. Funny you should ask. Since after putting out 3 Awakening records, I started releasing solo records as well way back in the day. And I've put out 8 solo albums with a couple of books. I'm always working on that as well. I tend to try and explore other flavors with the solo work, and there will be a little bit of crossover. It's the same person writing the songs, but I tend to try on different colors and flavors with the solo work, and that's ever going as well. And then, of course, I'm involved in other projects, and most notably, I'm a recurring member in Beauty and Chaos. We've just put out a new music video for a sort of almost acoustic version of a song called Made of Rain. And I think that'll be out, I want to say June 18th. So Beauty and Chaos is another project I'm involved with. There's film work and scoring and all of that. I mentioned the book writing. I'm busy assembling a kind of a collection of all the short stories and written a few new ones, and we'll continue to work on that. It's just a little bit busy with all this tour stuff, but I will get back to that as soon as I can.
Yeah, I was going to say you are quite prolific in the art department of things you are producing or working on. Is there one among those that you find is easier to work in, or that maybe finding success or traction for what you're offering in that medium is maybe a little easier than one or the other?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think ironically, certain eras of the Awakening seem to land more readily than most of the other things I do, whether that's to do with the genre we find ourselves in, or just the longevity of the project, or just good fortune. I'm not sure. Having said that, I'm not particularly governed by what gets the most clicks or streams or whatever. It's lovely to have that happen, of course, but I'm not going to not do something for fear of it not getting huge response or whatever. I think that's what keeps the artist's blood flowing and the heart pumping and the excitement on the rise. So yeah, I'd say this most recent Awakening record was a very comfortable, and you could say, compared with some of the other things, maybe an easier experience, because it pretty much felt like coming home. It felt like you're having dinner with a friend, and then you decide to go on a vacation, and then you move in together. That's right. How the evolution went there. But creating the other work comes just as easily. Waiting for a Voice and Autumn's Children, the 2 most recent solo records, were also very organic and natural, and that's kind of how I like to roll. I like to kind of follow where I feel these doors open for me creatively, rather than forcing a round peg into a square hole kind of thing.
Sure. That makes sense. I mean, to sort of do what comes naturally. Let me ask you this question, because not to transition too hard away from what you just said or anything, but that is the thing I wanted to ask you, is that given your time making music in this industry and sort of seeing the evolution of, brick and mortar record labels to everybody can release whatever they want and everybody has to become their own PR person, do you feel that you have benefited from it? Do you find that the modern sort of social media music mixture landscape has benefited you, or do you sort of miss things about the previous times, I suppose?
Yeah, I think with everything there are pros and cons, and that's no different. It's the obvious con for someone who's been doing it for a while was around about the time when downloads suddenly became streaming, and we all went, oh goodness, I used to be able to pay my rent from CD sales and downloads, and now I'm getting less than a cent for a song kind of thing. So that was an adjustment, and we were already fortunate to have been a kind of a late 90s band, so we had the benefit of the internet to be known worldwide and all of that. So I can't really speak to a true pre-internet time, but yeah, the opportunities and the chance to connect, and I'm sure you've heard all of this before, but the ability to get your work out there is incredible today. And I think with someone who is leaning in the prolific direction, as you pointed out, it's wonderful to be able to explore and experiment and do non-traditional releases and test the water, or do full-blown releases, whatever you want, really. It's just, you're not limited by the old constructs. But Of course, the downside is absolutely everybody's doing it. So there's a lot of noise out there, and it's very difficult to get people to pay attention to what you're doing. And that's the double-edged sword of the digital age and the social media age, where we're all, everyone's trying to get clicks and attention and whatever else. And I think, again, if you can find a way to use them as tools and understand, you don't hang out with your tool set every day. If it's a hammer or you're not going to sleep with your hammer and taking your hammer out for walks and painting your hammer every few minutes. It's a tool, right? Mm-hmm. So I think if you can find a way of having a semblance of a healthy relationship with these tools, then great. But they can be all-consuming, and they can also be complete fiction. There are lots of people out there who might have millions of followers and 5 people show up to an actual concert. It's or the other way around, and everything in between. So I just think that there's a lot of assumptions get made based on streams and followers and likes and all of that aren't necessarily true. It's first and foremost, I'm a writer and a singer. As an artist, those are my 2 primary roles, and content creation is a lot further down on the list of priorities for me. And it's a necessary evil, but again, it's a tool. So I think if you can keep it in its place, then there's much to be gained from that. But yeah, it can be a little all-consuming.
Yeah, agree. It certainly can be. And it is probably my least favorite part of doing, my own thing. Is just like, got to go do some promotion stuff and tag people and do all this other stuff. So as somebody who is, you mentioned attention and things trying to get your attention and sort of all the noise out there, which I agree with, yes. And I do hear that often of like, how do we sort through these things and find things that speak to us or that matter to us? So for you, as somebody who is also sifting through that noise while being fabulously busy and making your own stuff, what are your taste makers? What gets your attention in this landscape? What stands out to you?
Yeah, it's another good question. I think the brutal truth is I spend so much time creating and doing everything that leads to, whether it's being actively involved in booking the tours and creating the merch and running the record label and running the studio. And there's just so much behind the scenes stuff that I honestly don't have a whole lot of time to be checking out new music and new movies and all the rest of it. It's things that ultimately make their way to me, whether it's just something that pops up on the dreaded Instagram feed or it's through friends, it's through friends and colleagues and so on. People talk about things, and I think that's how that is the modern tastemaker. People will talk about it if it's worth talking about. Sometimes even if it's not worth talking about. In the old days, you had to run a scorched earth campaign and have your face on every magazine and newspaper. I really don't think most people care about any of that anymore. I think there's just so much competition that we feel like, hey, if it's worthwhile, it's going to make it to me. And then on top of that, most people, depending on whatever music streaming platform you use, I think the algorithms tend to suggest sometimes bizarre selection of things, but sometimes it lands. You can find, if you're kicking back listening to whatever, the new Chelsea Wolf or whatever it is, there might be an interesting option, alternative for your next listen. Part of your job as a creator to make an effort to seek those things out. I just don't have a massive amount of time to do that. It's usually while I'm at the gym or something, I'm listening to. And then you don't really want to listen to down-tempo, doom or whatever. You want to play something that's going to keep you from dropping the weight on your head.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do just have to comment there really fast of sometimes the algorithm has brought me wonderful things that have enriched my life so much. And it is interesting sometimes to sort of see what it can bring you. Like, I very recently had the experience of someone in my life very into underground EBM, hard industrial club music, like, suddenly hard style and hardcore is like being suggested. So it's interesting to see this sort of how the old becomes new again in ways. Yeah. And it allows you to enjoy a fresh take on something familiar. And I like that.
When iTunes and all of that kind of got off the ground, I was used to say to people in conversations like these that to younger people, Bieber and Beatles are just a few letters apart in the music catalog, right? Justin Bieber and the Beatles. Many of us would think of it sacrilege to mention those two in the same breath, and I might be one of those. But be that as it may, it just illustrates how everything is suddenly, the playing field has just been kind of leveled in many ways. And that, I think, is a positive thing. I think that there was definitely a gatekeeper sense in the 80s. Well, everything kind of mid-90s, I'd say. And things have broadened out. And whilst I enjoy the nostalgic rush of going and seeking out and finding a vinyl that no one's heard of or whatever, I mean, there's that pretentious collector in me that finds that very appealing, that I've got the Japanese pressing of Kate Bush's Hounds of Love single with some rare B-side or something. The music nerd in me loves that, but I don't expect everyone else to be that way. And I think that's kind of where we have to land, is that it is ever changing. The evolution's not going to be for everyone, and the revolution is not going to be for everyone. But it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad or wrong, or it's just different. And I think my outlook on most things is that, it's very easy to condemn what we don't understand and judge what we are threatened by, because it's different. And as someone who's been part of a music scene that gets a lot of flack for its aesthetic representation and choices and so on, and maybe the stylings of the music, I think I'm very familiar with being accused of things that I'm not guilty of and so on, worshipping the devil, etc. It's just this thing where if you just extend people a little bit of grace and go, well, maybe they just don't understand, maybe they're frightened or they're freaked out by this thing, and then it's a learning experience and we can all learn and hopefully improve our situation in life and how we all fit in,
Yeah, I do agree with you in that when it comes to music people like, I don't have to like it. But if it is the reason that someone gets out of bed in the morning and is able to keep going and I love this new Meghan Trainor song or whatever, I don't know. Right. But just, I don't care if it's Taylor Swift or whatever you like. Yeah. If it's the reason that you keep going, enjoy it as hard as you can, by all means.
Absolutely.
I don't have a CD player, but CDs are a thing I will purchase from an artist if I see them live, and I'll be like, sign this. It's just a holdover from young Brian, who was like, sign my CD. And so, yeah, I've got that little bit of a thing that I want, I want this physical object you obviously listen to your vinyl from the sound of it.
Right. I think you're not alone. There are a lot of people that come to my shows or our shows and have told me that very thing. They're wanting a little piece of that experience, a little souvenir of the show they've been to, or even if they're buying it online, just that sense of supporting the artist or getting a little bit closer to the artist. And it's exactly the same for me. I too have thousands of CDs and hundreds of records that I've been collecting over the years, and it may have slowed down in the last 10 years or so. It's never going to stop. There are just certain things that I just feel. And the same with Blu-rays. It's I can stream whatever I want, but if I want The Man Who Fell to Earth or something, I just kind of want whatever super duper mega deluxe box with 12 inflatable Bowies in it or something, and then I'm very excited because now I've got that version, now it can sit on the shelf and I'll just stream it when I watch it. It's just that thing of supporting what you love. It's like going to the local soap shop to buy your soap that's been handmade by whoever, as opposed to just supporting, Amazon or whatever it is. If you want the soap shop to exist, or if you want the record store to exist or the coffee shop to exist, you need to go and support these things and, not bitch about the fact that coffee might be 50 cents more there or $1 more, whatever it is. If you want those experiences, we need to support them, and I do feel that way about music, although I completely understand people conversely feeling, I don't need another record or another CD. I'd rather just come to the show. We're all different again, and it's just personal taste.
Yeah, agree. If you want this thing to continue to exist, throw some dollars at it, because there's a person underneath it that's trying to make it work. That's a goth band or whatever.
Exactly. And I think there's an unfortunate thing that happened over the years with digital is this misconception that, it's digital, it didn't cost anything. It's free, it's digital. And no, some human or humans still spent a whole lot of time, money, and energy creating this thing, beautiful painting or a song or a shelter for dogs, whatever it is. They're just these things that we try and do that we feel the need to express, or they're the ways for us to communicate or commune with others. And yeah, if you want to see more of that and less of just cold digital nothingness, then, support the real things.
Yeah. And I think that supporting those things and building community is more important now than it has been in maybe our lifetimes. So it's a good way to bring people together. It's part of the reason that I'm as excited as I am about Glom Fest. You mentioned David earlier, who is a lovely human being. Yes. And Vara has been wonderful to work with as well. And I'm so excited to see all these bands come together and just sort of see the blending of styles and see people come together and put something on because they just want to do it. Festivals and shows and things like that are put together and assembled from a place of passion and real love for the thing. There's something very uniquely special about it.
Absolutely. And I do think it shines through. I think that their passion and Christine's passion, everyone involved first, it's infectious, that passion. And hopefully, others will experience that too. And just that excitement and that drive to see this happen. And again, to celebrate it and to ensure that it continues to happen. We need to support these things. And I'm delighted to be part of it. And I met David last year on my little solo tour, and we met in York where he lives. And just became instant friends and just started chatting and here we are. And this year we're headlining the festival. It's cool.
Yeah. Life can change very fast in a year. That is for
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I don't want to keep you too long, so I will go ahead and put the last question of the show to you that I always ask, which is, what is something that you have been enjoying recently? And your answer can be anything: movie, book, TV show, your dog, whatever. You don't have a dog, you have a cat, but...
Yeah. Well, it'd be too easy for me to say that, time with Willow is what I enjoy most, but, that tends to be the truth. But if we had to think of watching Persona again recently, was as wonderful as it always is. And that's an Ingmar Bergman movie that I just never get tired of. So that would be my offer to that answer.
Could you tell me why I should watch it?
It's just an essential piece of cinema. It's just black and white, minimalist, and glorious storytelling, the way he tells stories. Have you seen any of his movies, Ingmar Bergman, like Seventh Seal? Or...
I've seen Seventh Seal and maybe something else in one of my classes at college, but I'm blanking on the name right now.
Yeah, well, just go and see this one. Give it a whirl. It's dialogue and relationship driven. It's minimalist. It's shot on that island that he used to love shooting things on. When you put people or characters in a space like that, I just love the cinematography, the dialogue, and the mood of the movie. So I recommend that.
You called it essential viewing and told me how much you love it. So, all right. The thing I've been enjoying recently is I recently transitioned into the marketing department at my job. It's my first marketing gig in my life, and it has been wonderful. It's so great to sort of tap into a creative wellspring for my day job versus just like, I'm just doing, whatever day job activity, mundane thing. It feels good to tap into the creative well for that. And I'm really grateful. So that's been the thing that I've been enjoying the most.
Well, congratulations on the new venture and the rewards that you're already experiencing. That's lovely.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I gave a wholesome answer. Yeah, I feel good about that. All right. Well, that is it. I will go ahead and let you go. Thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to seeing you. I will catch you twice at Glom Fest in September at the LA and San Francisco shows. And really excited to catch your performance and hang out in person. And thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you, Brian. It's been a lovely chat. And yes, we should celebrate in person at Glom Fest 2025, the first of many.
The first. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day, and I will be in touch with you soon.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers. Bye. Void Signal intro and outro music courtesy Processor. Visit processor2.bandcamp.com for more Processor. and visit voidsignal.net to help support the creation of more Void Signal. Thank you.